Hello, my loves. So I'm here today at home in front of my makeshift office. I am popping in today because I am going to start doing some lives here on my page, and I've got some content for y'all. I want to take this opportunity, this whole month, in fact, to really share with you how you can be living in flow, how it can be making your life easier, how it can be helping balance your hormones, it can be helping you have better periods, it can help your periods be better for your business, your life at home, all of these things. So we're going to go through a whole series. Basically, I'm going to start you off with what's going on, the basics of the phases and the cycles, the ways that you can live in flow with those phases and cycles using my sensual system. And we're going to talk about how to do it with your business in flow. And I'm going to talk to coaches specifically about how they could be coaching their clients with flow. Okay. So there's going to be a whole series of these things. I'm going to break them each down as well. So, for example, the coaches for flow, we're going to talk about the different phases and how you can be using these for your clients. Okay. So these are each going to be different videos. My goal is to keep them very short and sweet and to the point. Living in flow today is just going to be I just want to explain a little bit of what living in flow really is and looks like and means. And the first thing I want to say is it doesn't mean taking anything away, and it doesn't mean forcing or shoehorning things in. It means taking the things that you already know, love, and do and reorganizing them in a way that really supports your body, your hormones, your flow, your life, and using all that knowledge to your advantage. So what I need from you today is to know where you are in your cycle. So if you don't have a chart already, I've got free ones that you can use forever on my website. I'll put the link in the comments at the end of this. And that's it. I just need you to know where you are in your cycle. But I want you to understand that we're not talking about making your life harder. We're talking about making your life easier. And when people start to think about charting, they start to think about this overwhelming amount of stuff. And that's not it at all either. So this whole month, I hope to dispel a lot of myths and a lot of ideas that we have that are just not the reality of the situation. And I would like to replace it with some fresh mindset and takes on what it actually is and what it actually means to be doing this work and to be living like this. So I've been spending years and years living in flow. It started off as no other choice. And then turned into, wow, this is making everything so much easier. How can I double down on this and do it again? And every year I go through this process where I look and go, how can I double down again? How can I make this even easier? How can I do this even more? So when I'm talking about this, I want you to know I've done this step by step, and I'm encouraging you to do it step by step as well. I don't really subscribe to the all or nothing technique. I am a bit of a rip the Band-Aid off kind of girl for myself, but it's not a sustainable course of action or life, right? So, doing a cleanse is great, but then we go back to our old habits the next day. I don't want that to be the situation. I want us to be able to build a really nice rhythm and flow based on your rhythm, your flow. So everything that I'm going to be talking about is going to be a bunch of suggestions. And you take the ones that really resonate with you and you leave the ones behind that don't. So the living in flow is really simply a process of discovering what your pleasures are in each phase of your cycle and then learning how to create your life around that. And it means everything is going to be involved. So the foods that you choose to eat, the ways you spend time with your family, the ways that you run your business, the ways that you do the grocery shop, just all of these little bits and pieces can all come together and be very much an easy part of your life. And we've all had this experience where we've been staring at a blank page going, I don't know, or we're looking at a to-do list that's freaking us out, or we're sitting in front of the refrigerator with the door open going, I just don't know. It's all of this is just being out of sync with our own body. It's being out of sync with our own flow. So when we start getting into sync, those decisions are no longer decisions that have to be made. They're already done. You don't have to think about the next thing because it's right there in front of you and you know what's coming next. So you know what the next step is. You know what the next action to take is. It's a lot of sitting down and going, what's next? This. Instead of going, what's next? Ooh, okay, let me see. I've got this to-do list, but then I've got these tasks that need to be done daily. But then I have to make sure the kids don't die. And then I have to make sure that the dog gets out. Instead of having to go through all of that stuff, it's already in the works. You know what's coming next. You know how much easier your life can be. And one example of this is being a mom trying to corral a family and being able to say, you know what, this is when I'm going to feel really active and ready to rock and roll. So this week we're going out for family hike, or we're doing family day in the backyard, or I'm hosting the family Olympics in the backyard today. Okay. And then 2 weeks later going, I'm in my deep Loodle phase. I do not have the energy to be playing field games. We're going to have family movie night this week. But if you are going, this is what's happening, I know what's coming next, you can really plant all of that in advance so that the family is like, yeah, super on board, let's do it. And it makes it a lot easier. Same thing with business. Everybody sat down to record or write or work on something and just been a blank. You're just doing it out of flow. So when you're in flow, you're writing, you're editing, you're recording, all at the times when your peak is at that place. So when your verbal skills are at the peak, when your editing skills are at your peak, when your systems skills are at your peak, when your creativity is at your peak, when your spatial awareness is at your peak, you're able to take all of these different things and make it very easy. I'm going to keep this under 10 minutes, so I'm getting off of here for today. I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to talk about structures and how just because we don't have the typical structures that the patriarchy has built over the years, millennia really, doesn't mean that we don't have them. We're going to jump in and we're going to really just talk about how this is a really helpful, freedom-enhancing structure tomorrow. So think of this as me saying, let's go back to basics. Let's build your foundation from the scratch up. Let's talk about how we can use our period as the absolute floor of our foundation and then take everything to the next level with that as our absolute system to be built upon. Makes it everything so much easier and we can all flow gently into the next round. I love you guys. As always, feel free to grab a copy of my book. It's in the button on the top of my Facebook page. It's also at theperiodcoach.com/revolution. All of this stuff is in there if you like to read, and this is going to make a great companion to it, and I'm going to be reading some parts out of the book as we go through this whole process. So if you don't have it yet, feel free to grab a copy. It's on there. There is digital and print. Feel free to grab it, and I will see you when we dive into the systems approach. If you're not following this Facebook page, make sure you like it and make sure you're following it. So that means clicking to get the alerts so that you know when I'm going live next, okay? I'm going to do my best to send out an email to my email circle if you're on my email list saying, hey, I'm doing a live tomorrow or whatever. I'll give you as much advance notice as I can. But if you're not on my email list, get on there so that you've got the notices and like this page and make sure you're getting the alerts so you know when I'm going live, okay? All right, mwah, I love you, and I will see you back here for our next class.